Good morning. I should be live. I should be live everywhere. The markets will open in about 3, 2, 1. There we go. Markets are open. So good morning, everybody. I hope you're well. It's Friday, the 11th of April, and I'm trading the European session. I want to show you where we are in context of where we closed yesterday. The DAX closed at 20,562 and we are at 20,800. The FTSE closed at 7,913 and we are at 7,985. Okay, so let's see. So earlier this morning we had a big push higher, and the top of that is being tested, and so far it's holding. It's not a signal that I'll act upon. Over in the FTSE, we got the development of a negative bar. So we got 40 seconds left of the first 5-minute bar. I had kind of hoped that it would be a negative bar. Still time, of course. If a bar is almost unchanged, I think this could actually be it. Do you see how it's almost unchanged? Yeah. This is a rare example of a bar. I think you should, I'm not sure if that is the open. Do you see how the open and the close is practically identical when it happens? You can't really argue that it's a first bar negative or even a first bar positive. We have a low at 7958, and then we have another low down here at 38. So if I were to buy down here at 58, I would say, well, that's because it's below prior bar low, but I would argue, well, this is not really a first bar negative. I may still do it, but I'd like to have a stop loss below. I'm actually also looking at the DAX at the same time, and it's trading lower. So I imagine that 38 could be in play, or even a gap fill. Some people have commented that they can hear my wall clocks. When I'm silent, even I can hear it. It does feel like being transported back into your great-grandmother's living room, doesn't it? Interesting. DAX has hit this low here. Stand by. Buying the FTSE here. I'm moving stop loss to break even. Stand by to take profit. Closed my FTSE. The reason why I closed my FTSE was because we went above the prior bar high, which is an area I want to short at. And I have to admit to you, I was just about to tell you to short. And I just hesitated there for 1 second. The reason I did this was because we have an overnight range low. And it seemed to make sense to be a buyer at double bottom. And so I did. My fill was at 43. Looking at the 5-minute bar, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 bear bars coming into a double bottom. I felt that it was a good idea to buy here. It worked out, but I don't necessarily think that we are headed back up to 8,000 again. And I think it's a common feature that sellers will step in above a prior bar high. You see the same pattern happening here in the DAX. I could very likely be accused of why didn't you short here. Fair point. So the next trade that I will look at will possibly be a school run. We have the closing price down here, Now let's draw the overnight range in that context. And since I've become so good at drawing these boxes now, I shall thrill you all with my artistic skills. Obviously we know that that's a joke, but I shall do my best. Okay, that was not a good start. 1 second. Let's see if I can do this. No, absolutely not. What the hell am I doing? All right, let's just get rid of this and this and this. Yeah. And please don't laugh too hard at my complete lack of artistic inability. Something like that, I think it should look like. There we go. There's roughly the overnight box. And we're now, if we double click on this bar here and I show you the so this bar that you're seeing here, so these lines here, they represent a methodology called the aggressive school run, ASRS. I don't take them every day. I used to. But for some reason that I perhaps am not able to completely understand myself, I don't take them every day. I'm more inclined to wait another few minutes. But just so we're clear, the aggressive school run represents the fourth 5-minute bar. They tend to work well on days where the volatility is lower. And they were designed for the times when I want to be in the market sooner than waiting for a school run. FTSE just went all the way back down and retested this area at 38, just made a new low at 36, and has now traded back in within the context. It's not quite what I want to show. It's a bit better. You don't seem to be able to specify that I want this line to end between these two candles. So either I show half of the previous candle, this one here, or I show half of the one I'm trying to draw. Anyway, let's delete that. I think it might be causing more confusion than clarity. That's not the intention. Excuse me. Just 1 second, please. When I do my work, I often flip between the time frames. I do that because I want to know, is there anything that the 10-minute chart is not showing me that perhaps the 5-minute chart is. So while we are in a gap up situation, the sellers are pressing us down towards a gap fill. Successfully, I might add. And we're coming up to the completion of the second 15-minute candle. And this candle is now taking place inside of the overnight range. And what that tends to mean is that I should be deploying an approach called the ante. The ante means that if we were to trade below, in this case 592, instead of doing the normal school run short, I would be a buyer. During this sell-off, it hasn't been as reliable as I Could have wished. And I can't help but think that if I sold short below 592, there's a reasonable chance we would see a gap fill at 562. What you'll notice is the size of the stop loss. The range is 150 points from 756 to 592. That's 164 points. That's a sizable stop loss. So whatever I do, I need to adjust that into my trading size. I can't help but thinking that perhaps today that should be shorted below 592. They're very strong candles. I want to see something. Sometimes the Dow can give us a clue. Went above last night's high. Closed below the high candle, so that's a sell signal right there. And it would target at least 546, but actually 00 would be the real target down here. The same can be said for the DAX, with the highest bar here was closed below here. FTSE is minding its own business. the structure of the FTSE. What to do, if anything. So far, it was a failed attempt. Both the FTSE and the DAX are going back into the range of the last 5-minute candle, traded above. Sort of looking at where that candle is going to close now. I was just about to say you expect to see the low end of that candle tested. That's what we just done here. So the problem that I have now is that if I can draw your attention to yesterday's price action. So here's yesterday's price action. You have a significantly cleaner break. The bar, the opening bar, was the high of the day actually, and sort of comparing it to where we are right now. We had a small degree of overlap, but the moment that we traded above the high of this bar here, the market ran out of steam. And by 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock Europe, we were lower. So right now, we have more of an overlap structure. You see how sellers have come in above the prior bar high. But now you're also seeing buyers stepping in below prior bar low, here and here, double bottom. So either I bet on this as a trading range, and I'll be long here in anticipation of a trip back up to 700, or I stay aside, and wait for a cleaner signal. It was fun to trade the FTSE yesterday, where you just keep hammering the sell 68, 67, 66. It had that pit trader mentality, just hitting the offers. It doesn't happen so often. Don't think we should forget what the slightly longer term time frame looks like. We had a failed attempt to push higher, but we are holding the lows, and we do have a gap up. It's just how much the bulls are prepared to defend this. You'll probably remember yesterday. My personal feeling is I think that if we get down to say 595, I might as well just sell short. Because I think a test of 592 will come, and then I think 562 could be in play. We just hit 598. sort of hovering over the sell button, but just bear in mind that I've reduced my stake size in lieu of a bigger stop loss. So 592 is the low so far, and I am mindful that is within the trading range. There's 595. I just got filled 5 points lower than I wanted to. Let me just post this. Come on. Sorry, I wasn't at the market. It was my mouse. That was not a very good fill. But FTSE is now making new lows, so that's helping me. I'm using an initial 150 point stop loss. I don't really think I need that. But let's see what is happening here. So the initial target is obviously going to be the gap fill. And then if you really get going, the overnight range low. My stop loss is up here right now. I will not let it go all the way up there. I think I'm being inclined to move it above the current stop loss, the current high. Is it 635? So, you know what? I might as well just move it to break even now. So let me show you what it looks like on the account. Stop loss is now at break even. Would you excuse me for 1 second? I don't think it's one of those that you can change the battery. I'll add a partial to my DAX position. So we had a gap fill. Guess now it just becomes a question of, well, what's going to happen next? Ladies and gentlemen, I do have to stop in a few minutes' time, so I think I'm quite happy just to take profit here. So let me just show you what that looked like. So the add-on made a little bit closer at 39. So overall, 165 on the FTSE and 100 and so on the DAX. So I think this is a good opportune time for me to finish today's live trading. I will be back for the US session later. If I didn't have to finish today earlier, I would play for the gap, for the fill of the overnight range. So thank you so much for being here. It's always a pleasure to trade with you. And it's lovely. Keeps you disciplined because you have to, go by the rules, which is a good thing. All the very best. Lots of love. Bye-bye.